is Tuesday, May 26th in the United States. In Canada, luxury trash's New York Knicks are in the NBA Finals, and this is a show called What Chaos? From Boston, Massachusetts, my name is David Bean. I sit beside Pete Blackburn, and holding it down in the city of maybe a Bo Byram extension, it's Sean DePaz. Hi, Sean.
Hey, howdy, hey.
You read that shit I sent you? I don't think we're going to hit it on the show today, but Pierre LeBrun had a... you read Pierre LeBrun this morning?
I did not.
What did Pierre LeBrun have that interested me? He said that Jarmo really likes Bo Byram, wants to extend him.
How could you not?
Love that.
I mean,
I don't know what Jarmo thinks of some of their other defensemen, but I love that he got in there and he's like, I'll tell you who my fucking guy is. The one that everyone's been trading and talking about constantly.
respect to Bo and Byram. If you're going to talk for about a year and change about how you want to be a number one defenseman, you want more opportunity, you want to play more, back it up with good play. And new GM comes in and he proves his opportunity right off the bat and is like, sign me, bitch.
Love it.
He scored, what, 4 goals in the first round? Like, I think I was balling in the playoffs.
Byram was
absolutely
awesome.
deserves an extension.
I got up super early this morning to go to the fucking gym, but I remember sending you, like, the first thing I did when I popped open the phone was read that, and I sent it to you guys with interesting stuff on, what was it, Byram and something else?
Yeah, there was another item there.
Yeah.
I do not know.
What was so interesting?
I was very tired this morning because...
Nico Hischier.
Oh,
right.
Nico Hischier, yes.
I was very tired this morning because in my neighborhood last night, like across the street from me, you ever heard of fucking Fisher Cat?
Oh, I thought that's where you were going. I was like, at first I thought it was going to be guns, and then I was like, no.
Upper middle class.
No, not just that.
Not a lot of guns in my neighborhood.
I don't think you would have been like, in my neighborhood, I was watching TV and guns started happening.
No,
I feel like
dude.
you wouldn't say that. I feel like the setup was a lot more Fisher Catty.
Over the last like week and change, there has been a Fisher Cat in my neighborhood. Have you heard the sounds that those things make?
I don't, but I've heard people ask, have you heard them? And apparently it is a horrifying shriek.
It is a horrifying shriek, and that thing was going off all night last night, like 2, 3 in the morning. Woke up several times late last night.
And I hate woke.
That's right. And like, it sounded like animals were dying in my neighborhood, but it was just a Fisher Cat shrieking. It was horrific.
Are you sure it wasn't Jackson Blake?
Would you stop fucking doing it?
Nice.
Stop whining.
There you go. Couldn't wait to hit that one.
This is going to be a pro Lane Hutson episode. I think I'm just going to lie a lot on today's show.
Lie a lot?
Yeah.
In order for it to be a pro Lane Hutson episode, you have to
Yes,
lie. Is that what
exactly.
you're suggesting? Okay,
Fair.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because he is trending so much more towards Evan Bouchard that I'm like, and now I must defend him. Who it was? Spectre tweeted last night. Like, imagine if Evan Bouchard made the play that Lane Hutson just did. And
Don't
I was
have to
like,
imagine.
why do I have to imagine that?
Yeah.
He's done it. He's the GOAT for real. Fucking copycat league. We'll talk about Lane Hutson and a bunch of other things, such as, Pete?
Today on the show, following up a great performance yesterday, nailed it. Lane cooked, ?
Yeah, because he looks more like Dane Cook out there, sometimes people say. Not me. I'm lying for him.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Shayna Goldman's going to join the show. We love Shayna. Shayna episodes. That means it's going to be a very smart one today. And what are those? What are those? Somebody wore some shoes?
I don't know if anyone's going to wear them, but the NHL has released some shoes.
Oh, God, I did see those.
I am just
And
going to
yeah.
copy them. Like, those are going to be the easiest shoes to copy.
Wrap
but
them
the
in tin
question
foil.
will be, why would you want to do that? Because
Yeah.
the shoes look stupid and bad.
Yep, they sure do. Can't wait to hit that. And then finally, today in Worlds, you asked for it, you got it. We got Worlds updates for you, and a couple good ones, I would say. You don't know them, do you?
I don't know
You're going in
either of
blind?
them. Famously, don't care, don't want to hear about it. Might as well be Worlds. I've got a question for you. And Sean, you can weigh in too because you typically see the chat. Did they ask for it?
World's chat?
I mean,
Yeah,
that's how
like,
we got
it
on Worlds
does-
to begin with.
I mean, I was seeing a lot of it online. I didn't wonder until now, does our audience care about Worlds? I bet they do because we have some Macklin Celebrini stands in the chat.
We also
And,
have,
I see
we have
people
also
being
have
like,
non-North American listeners.
yeah, I'm seeing like a lot of Hungry did it. And I was like, I don't know what the hell they did. What are you talking about? Worlds? Okay, we'll do today in
Norway
Worlds.
did it.
What's
You've been
that?
broken down. I said Norway did it, and then I said you've been broken down. Because
No
you were
way.
insistent there would be no worlds. Norway.
Oh, yeah,
you were insistent there would be no Worlds chat on the show, and look
All
what's
right.
happened.
It would be easy to make all of this about Lane Hutson, but can we also make this about the fact that the Montreal Canadiens almost did it again?
Yeah,
Those
almost did it again.
fuckers almost did it again. They almost won an overtime game in which they had 13 shots on goal, and an overtime game in which they had 13 shots on goal, in which I didn't believe they had 13 shots on goal.
I mean,
Recency bias.
they almost did it to the extent that it almost didn't go to overtime.
Yeah.
Like, they almost did it in overtime, but they almost didn't get to overtime because they almost won it in the third period. It's such a weird situation because like you knew that the Canes were going to dominate the Habs in possession, and you knew that the numbers were going to be skewed, but they've been like really skewed, and it really hasn't mattered because the Canadiens just fucking play everyone close no matter what the game looks like.
This is the greatest test of the Canadiens' magic. I think we expected it would
Yeah.
be because they played 2 series in which they won games that they could have lost, but whatever, that happens sometimes. But 2 things I think are just louder and more prominent than they've been in a while, which is 1, this team just finds a way to win. I hear that and I think that more about the Canadiens than I have in a long time about a team. And the other thing is, and I will admit that this is probably just because the Canadiens are deep into the playoffs, I'm hearing more about diving than I ever have, and I'm hearing more about officiating than I ever have. Respectfully, I'm going to mostly sit that out. We do have some diving related topics that we'll hit today, but is it just because the Canadiens, who do historically have a history of diving, but I say that every team dives, they are more incentivized to dive because of their building? But
I also think that people are more incentivized to call them out based off of the history and
Reputation calls.
Reputation, yeah.
big reputation.
I also think that the deeper that you get into the playoffs, the more officiating tends to become a discussion because the games are bigger, the stakes are higher, more people are watching these individual games when it's like one a night. But also, I mean, officiating has objectively been pretty bad so far, to the point where they stopped the game for a too many men on the ice last night, identified that there were too many men on the ice, identified that the team touched the puck while there were too many men on the ice, and then decided to not call too many men on the ice. That was insane.
But it was because it hit them versus they touched the puck.
Since when
Hit
does that
shot.
matter?
That's the rule.
Really?
Did you see that going around last night?
No.
I may have been a Canadiens fan. Probably tricked me.
I feel like if you touch the puck by accident, I've seen so many times where like you touch it by accident, you still get whistled for too many men.
We make fun of ESPN for doing this. Be like, let's take a look at the replay. We don't know what the rule is here, and we're like, well, then learn the fucking rule. Last night was a big. Maybe I didn't know the rule as well as I thought. The smart people online, famous last words, were saying that they got the call right.
Okay.
Because of it. Sean, are you efforting? I don't even know what you.
I am looking for somebody who is a Habs fan, of course, I believe, posted a section of the rule book.
Yeah.
And the section that they highlighted is if in the course of a substitution, either the players entering the play or the players retiring is struck by the puck accidentally, the play will not be stopped and no penalty will be called.
Well, the
Hand
play
up
was
at-
stopped.
Rule 70.
Yeah, hand up. Clearly, neither of us knew that. I'll speak for maybe all three of us.
I guess that does make sense. Not all three of us.
Yeah. I mean, speak for us.
Hashtag
Yeah,
Sean knew.
I guess
I've
that does
never
make
even
sense
thought of
in
it,
the
I guess.
sense that like if the defensive team is making a change, the offensive team could just fire
Yeah.
pucks at them.
Yeah.
I've thought about that before, for sure. So that, yeah, I agree. That makes sense in that case.
But that was weird. Okay. All right. I guess hand up. I didn't know
Yeah.
the rule book in and out, but that seemed like it seemed very weird that they stopped the play and then decided to not call that.
Well, the Canadiens, it's all to say the Canadiens nearly pulled it off, but instead, a Hurricanes player, we are not sure, no one is sure, scores the game winner, and you've got a 2-1 Canes series lead. And once again, Centre Bell, with what I will say was a polarizing set of anthems proves once again to not be fortuitous for the Montreal Canadiens.
Also, just if a game goes to overtime, the Hurricanes are going to win it. We kind of talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Where I don't know how it came up, but we were saying like, if games keep going to overtime, the Canes are going to win because they don't make mistakes.
Yeah, but also, aren't you so afraid to say that? Because that's kind of the Hurricanes thing, is that they've got, like I said yesterday, they've historically been the team of 5 number 2 starters, and Canadians have more killers.
Yeah, but they didn't kill last
actually,
night. The Hurricanes are 7-0 in their last 7 overtimes, and I mean, the Habs had chances in overtime. I think they hit 2 posts, and obviously they almost didn't get there in the first place. But I think Nick Suzuki missed the net on a breakaway too in overtime. It just like if you got killers, they got to kill.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
They didn't do that, and like one of their killers killed his own team.
That's what I was going to say. Is I feel like that was your point yesterday. Is that they there might be more guys that can do things on the Habs, but they're also the same people that are more likely to make mistakes that will cost them.
That was the discussion that we had. Is like a lot of their like game breakers are also at times prone to being a liability.
Yeah. Okay.
Just kind of how it goes.
We've got a lot of shit to hit before we get to Shayna in about 10 minutes, so let's do it. We have to begin this section with it being a nightmare game for Lane Hutson, to which I say, explain the power play point that we correctly said was going to happen. Boost me, baby. Very good stuff. Lane Hutson is the GOAT for real. Not a good night for Lane Hutson, who, before we get into this, I will say, Lane Hutson leads the Canadiens in time on ice this postseason. Lane Hutson is second in points in the Canadiens this postseason. Lane Hutson is tied for the team lead in assists this postseason. So Lane Hutson, as he is one of the best players in the world, has had a good postseason on the whole. As you shorten it to, say, games against the Carolina Hurricanes in the last week, it doesn't look as good. And last night, I think, was the worst of it because, yes, he gets his power play point, which was his only point through 3 games this series. He's got 2 shots on goal the whole series. So not off to a great start through 3 games. But obviously the biggest low light was the overtime goal in which he committed a turnover that had me booked and busy, rewatching a million times, trying to find a way that I could blame Ivan Demidov for breaking the wrong way. And I, in my infinite wisdom, could not find a way to blame anybody else on the ice.
Was it Demidov or was it Slavkovsky?
Oh, I'm sorry, it was Slavkovsky. I do confuse them. Problematic.
Yeah. Yikes.
If you have a way I can blame Demidov, I'll do that too. It was Slavkovsky. I was like, maybe he was supposed to break in a little more or something. And I was like, nah, he just sent the puck into open waters.
And like put a real lack of oomph on it. Just sent it to the middle of the neutral zone for anybody to grab.
I'm sure no one's seen it. Sean, can you play it, please?
Oh, no.
Overtime. Here's Hudson. Picked off by Svechnikov.
Slav, what are you doing, bud?
Looks to put a move on. Maintains control of the puck. Svechnikov, cross ice, Jarvis.
And look at Hudson after.
Yeah,
He is
so
like, fuck,
mad.
God fucking like.
Well, I mean, did you hear what he said after the game?
Very sad. And that's why I'm clearly not having a blast doing this.
Yeah, after the game, he said, like, would be nice to be up 2-1, but we're not because of me. And yeah, damn, man.
But you know what? Jackson Lacombe did it too. Jackson Lacombe, although in the case of Jackson Lacombe,
Don't think that makes him feel better.
yeah, because where's Jackson Lacombe right now? In the case of Jackson Lacombe, that was everyone was complaining about something else. Everyone was blaming the officiating when Lacombe knew, like, that's very nice of you guys, but if you think about it, I'm kind of the reason we lost that game. And he more or less volunteered it with the media, which is like, I have to keep playing. That's like, we're in this spot because of me. And that's a really bad feeling, paraphrasing. Lane Hutson's doing it where the second he makes that pass, that's not like a Rasmus Dahlin at the blue line in game 7, little trouble there kind of comment. That's an immediate, oh, fucking no. And until the puck is out of the zone, you are saying, pray for Lane Hutson right now.
Yeah, and like Lane Hutson's aura is that of an innocent child.
Why?
Don't
judge
judge like an innocent child. So when he says like, would be nice if I wasn't the worst after the game, it just makes me so sad. So sad.
Yeah, so if you ever ask if we're biased about anything, who's a player that, I mean, we don't like hate any players, but
you famously have said that you hate a player.
If Tristan Jarry had that performance last night, I'd be like, we got to call it like we see it. It was a bad giveaway. You got to have your head in the game. I don't care if you won Calder last year, Tristan. Okay? Get your shit together, buddy.
Was some discourse after the game, though, courtesy, I think, of Luke Gadget on the Sportsnet panel, suggested that like maybe Hudson was like a little, maybe not concussed, but dazed as a result of taking a hit to the head like 30
the
seconds
Evan Bouchard comparisons. That's right. Continue.
Yeah. So I don't know. Lay off the boy, please.
Well, unfortunately, that's not the extent of the problems for Lane Hutson last night.
I was going to say lay off the boy. DJ, go ahead.
Yes. Lay off the boy while I take a breath, and DJ will continue it. Shout out to Canes Stats brand, I believe is the handle. It's a great Hurricanes stats Twitter account. They tweeted something last night being like, oh my God, what a funny hot mic moment. A Hurricanes player yelled at a Canadiens player to stop diving. I didn't see that until after the game, that tweet. I couldn't find the video. I spent the next 10 years of my life scrubbing through every shift trying to find this moment. And Kane's stats brand was like, I DM'd him. I was like, when is this? And he was like, I think it was Jackson Blake who yelled it. So go through Jackson Blake shifts. Found the clip and Mike Greenberg voice boosted the audio. So this isn't exactly what you would have heard on the broadcast, but isolated the tracks boosted the...
I mean, Kane Stats heard it. I heard it on the broadcast.
Okay, yeah. So because I texted you guys, I was like, was there this thing? And you said you heard it, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Sean, hit me. This does include Lane Hutson at the beginning of the play. Maybe he was the target.
Piece of the Blake attempt. Now Dobson controls for the Canadiens. Four skaters aside. Here's his... Would you stop fucking diving?
All right. That's rough because it makes sense. Not specifically that play. I think that if you throw your head back when a stick is coming your way, I don't get on you for that. And I'm not the diving judge, but Brad Marchand, who has never dove in his life, told me years ago that if a stick is coming up, it does make sense. That's the reflex that you make. I think I was trying to get him to talk shit about someone for diving when he didn't high stick him, and he was like, if it's coming at your face, you're going to go like that. So I let him off the hook there. And
to be fair, the stick, I think, did hit him in the face. It was just a friendly fire stick.
Oh. There have been moments this series where guys, including Lane Hutson, have gone down very easy. And I hate it for a player who then goes on to have a bad game that you're like, all right, let's talk about Lane Hutson's night last night. Diving, power play point, boost me, and lost in the game in overtime. That one of those things you can control.
You can, yeah. I mean, he can't control getting hit in the face. I'll say that, but he is diving. Everybody's diving. It's so fucking annoying. We talked about it heading into this series where start calling the dives by themselves. Isolate the dives, call them to limit the dives. I will give credit to Jackson Blake. I mean, Lane Hutson was awarded or nominated for a VC award, Man Who Looks Polite.
Oh.
Jackson Blake acting pretty polite by asking, would you stop fucking diving?
Would you stop fucking diving?
He didn't say stop fucking diving.
Yeah, I didn't tell him what to do.
He offered an opportunity.
He lets Lane Hutson make his own choices.
Gives him a little agency.
Could not be Bear.
No, definitely not.
More I have thought about
Yeah.
Obsession. By the way, someone left a comment on our Patreon when we were like, was Bear a bad guy? Is he really a bad guy? And he was just making a wish and he was just a hopeless romantic or whatever. Someone laid it out where they were like, once he knew what was going on,
still having
he
sex.
had sex with that person.
Yeah.
And I was like, Bear's the worst person in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kind of cut and dry when it's presented that way.
I'm going to see that movie again.
I'm definitely going to see that movie again. I saw some of the behind the scenes makeup stuff that they did.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's all they had to do to make that shit terrifying.
Yeah. Shout out to children making movies and it being really good. Okay, other thing I want to hit is it was a big night for Caden Gooley. He walked in to the game with coffee. Yes? But here's the thing about this coffee. It was yapping. You have it, Sean? Hey, Caden, wrote the barista. Have a good night. Maybe see you soon. I hope. Smiley face. Okay.
That's a fucking thesis on that coffee cup. We do know, we have experience that the baristas in Montreal can be quite a bit chatty, endearing.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of sought them out. We felt like a conversation, and we were like, I feel like someone was like, oh, what do you, or they were like, what brings you to Montreal? And we were like, time to do a podcast about hockey. Let's go. Have you seen Heated Rivalry? You haven't? What's your problem? We got into a whole thing. That is, I think, is a shot being shot there?
Like half a shot?
Yeah,
it feels
if you
like you could say it to the person.
Half a shot. That's big time barista chat.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, it definitely seems like something of a shot.
Now, in my hockey player gets a cup from someone at a liquid manufacturer place experience, it's now on Caden Gooley to offer tickets to that barista. Talking about a show called Heated Rivalry, episode 3. Ever heard of it? Scott Hunter and Kip.
I guess we are talking liquids. It should be a smoothie, but we all saw the smoothie. It's more of a liquid.
Oh, right. You had a big problem with that. Yeah. Sean, do you have thoughts?
Not really, outside of the fact that this poor barista probably did not realize that was going to be photographed. Like, they probably didn't consider the fact that it would be photographed with them walking in. And at the very least, they probably know at this point that their shot attempt has been broadcasted across the globe.
But they're not doxxed.
Their coworkers.
Well, that's what I'm worried about.
Their fellow coworkers might have seen, or they might have, like, because if you didn't know this was going to go all over the place, you might have told one of your coworkers, being like, oh my God, I just left Caden a little note. Oh my God. And then next thing you know, you open up Twitter and it's all over and people are kind of clowning you a little bit. Now, you know, your coworker you're seeing at 6 a.m. when you already hate your life is giving you shit for it. And that's a tough life.
Here's the thing, though. They did a nice thing and it was cute. So if people want to get, if I were the barista and someone was like, hey, you going to write any more Bibles for someone on their coffee cups? I'll be like, if I feel like being incredibly pleasant and sweet again, I will.
Right. And I'll give credit to people who like shoot their shot outside of dating apps. Like in any way possible.
Yeah. I'm definitely not hating on
appropriate.
the move.
Not in any way possible.
Not in any way possible.
Shut out
fair.
One Wish Willows.
Fair.
I'm definitely not hating on the move.
That was not the only part of Caden Gooley's big night. I clipped a pretty meaningless play because 2 very funny things happened on it. You're going to start by watching Caden Gooley, and then quickly after the funny stuff happens with Caden Gooley, I need you to shift your attention to Uri Slafkovsky.
Oh,
okay?
Boy.
It already sounds very funny.
Yeah.
It's going to give you some chuckles, I feel. Sean, hit me.
Oh, yeah.
The Slafkovsky part is the best.
That
Do it
is
again,
awesome.
Sean. Give me it one more time. I mean, that is a dive by Slafkovsky.
It's a whimsical dive.
That's the thing. Some are just like going down easy, but whether it's Dobej, whoever, like there have been some good theatrical dives.
I will put out the call that if you are going to continue diving and we're not going to get rid of it in these playoffs, at least dive in a way that makes sense to add sound effects to it.
Yes.
That's what I want.
It's all we ask. Sean, do we have Shayna?
Yes, we do. One moment.
Okay, from The Athletic and Too Many Men, the podcast, it is our dear friend, and I'm going to stall while Sean gets it ready, our dear friend and famous American hockey media member, Shayna Goldman. Hey, Shayna.
Hello. Team Running Man, the podcast, famously, not the penalty that has happened 22 times this postseason.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Did you know that apparently it's not too many men if you get hit accidentally?
I don't even know anymore. I'm sorry.
That
I
means
feel
she
like I watch
fucking did.
games and I sit here and I'm like, do I know the rules? That is the entire postgame. I'm like, do I know the rules? Am I an idiot? I felt I've asked that question to myself more than ever this postseason. And then you hear things explained and I'm like, I don't think that's it. Now I'm searching the rule book like an idiot. Now I'm not watching. And it's just, I just want someone to have the rules, say them correctly, that I don't have to second guess them because I don't believe them anymore.
Well, you're not going to like Dave Jackson.
My bestie, Dave Jackson, who blocked me on Twitter because I think I insulted him once. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that rules.
Join the club.
Yeah.
Join the club.
Yep. Yeah.
Life does get so much easier once you just resign yourself to like, I'm never going to fully know the rule book. And every time, like every season, there's going to be a handful of opportunities for you to just be like, really? That's the fucking rule? It can be fun.
This isn't good behavior. When I was a beat writer, I don't think I ever really got into the whole rule thing. I was like, I am going to know fucking like cap stuff. I'm going to know how all the contracts work. And I'm going to know that actually if you're offer sheeting somebody, it's total money divided by 5 or years, whatever is higher. And I'm going to have any sort of time, basically. So anytime a fan was like, why doesn't the team just do this? I can be like, because I know something about contracts, blah, blah, blah. Rules, I was always like, I'm going to let other people have that. The games themselves, I was probably a pretty shitty beat writer in terms of like what happened in the game. Who fucking cares? They played another game. Let's talk about movement, baby.
There you go. You watch the game, you don't need the recap, okay? Watch the games, nerds. Like, let's go.
That would be the best if that was my like mindset as a beat writer. I'm not giving you anything on the games because you fucking stat nerds aren't watching. Watch. That's my service to you. For people who have not watched the games, through 3 in the Eastern Conference Final, it is Carolina 2, Montreal 1. That sounds about right to me. That sounds good, but it was close last night. What do you make of the series so far? And does a 2-1 Hurricanes lead make sense?
It makes sense for all of the reasons. And honestly, the way it's happened kind of makes sense because when game 1 started and you get the, top line goals back and forth, you're like, you know what? Narratives be damned. All of this shit we've been stirring for days, it doesn't matter. We're all wrong here. But then all of a sudden you see the Canadiens are just going and there's odd man rushes the whole time and you're like, oh shit, the narratives matter again. It's the rest versus rust. It's that you have the adrenaline. Is it going to carry into this series? Does it matter here? And you have that for the Canes. They looked rusty. Frederik Andersen looked rusty. But then you were like, okay, how much can this hold up? Because the Canes, at their core, if you have to describe them anyway, you're going to say it's a high pressure system on both ends of the ice. They make you work. Yes, they have to work a ton, but they actually beat the shit out of you because you have to be moving your feet at all times if you're going to play the Canes. And now we're seeing that take over. So all of the narratives of the momentum will carry into game 1 and then come to a dead stop because Montreal has played a ton. Well, we're here. And what is going on is kind of ridiculous because Montreal is just literally not shooting the puck. They're the anti-Canes here in the series. And I looked it up. I was curious. So Montreal right now at 5-on-5 has 21.2 shots per 60. That is the 5th worst all time in the playoffs, dating back to 06-07, 06-07 or 07-08, 07-08 when we first tracked this, right? So it makes sense. You need to shoot the puck against this team to win a game.
Follow-up question. Do you really? Because it's like I'm starting to wonder like if it even fucking matters if the Canadiens control any game that they play in, because regardless of what's in front of them, and Marty St. Louis keeps preaching, like we just play and adapt to the game that's in front of us, and look, almost working.
Yeah. Well, they're adapting, right? Like round 1, they play this great defensive game against a team like Tampa Bay. They look like the faster team. Round 2, you got to bring up the offense. You got to bring up the speed against Buffalo, and all that works. And in game 1 here, it was like, okay, just throw the rush on them and see what happens, right? Because we know the Canes now all of a sudden have this really good transition game they haven't had before. They can also forecheck you to hell, so it could go either way. But game 1, we saw Montreal play that speed game. So what's the adjustment here? And I think it is, you do need to create a few more shots. You do have to create a little bit more chaos in front of Frederik Andersen if you're going to make an impact. You do have to There was a good story. Arpin wrote it this morning on The Athletic. He does such a good job with Canadian stuff, but it's like, if you believe, Marty Stanley is saying, like, if you believe this is the way that you have to play, and it's just being more, like anticipating a little bit more and playing a little bit quicker and making those faster decisions and looking to the future a little bit more. I think if you're playing the Canes, if you're not going to take a ton of shots, I think you just need to anticipate what they're going to do, because you see those plays where they get behind the ball. Like, I don't know, you're doing a split like you showed with Slavkovsky, and you're seeing like how things can develop here. I think you just need to play it a little bit more up tempo and be a little bit more ready then.
2 things. I forgot, in chat confirmed, today's your birthday, yeah?
Yes, but like,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
You and Sean,
Goldman.
birthday twins.
Yeah, you share.
Wow.
Happy birthday, Shayna.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Thank you.
That's way too long a clip.
That's
Well,
a long one, yeah.
happy birthday. Amazing stuff. Appreciate you. What gives with Lane Hutson? Because I gave like the overall stats for the postseason and then the stats for the last 3 games. What is it about? Is it just that he's played a lot of hockey and that typically the knock on small defensemen is that the deeper you get into the playoffs, the tougher it is? Because he's got 2 shots on goal, which actually sounds like a lot for a Canadiens player, as I say it, this whole series. 1 point, and obviously there's been the allegations of diving and the turnover last night.
Yeah. Okay. If I had to pick a sound, honestly, for saying it was my birthday, by the way, it'd be the misery one. So you almost had me there.
Oh, fuck. Wait.
No.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you. Okay, so with Lane Hutson, I think 2 things are going to be true in this series. To play with the Canes, the pace that they play with, the pressure system that they play with, and that they make their opponents work, I think he's someone that's going to have to work double as hard, because like he doesn't have a long stride. Like, this is where the height matters. We love our short Kings. We're not insulting them, okay? There's just a lot of short Kings on Montreal, and we could see how this could be a problem if you can't keep up with them. And it does feel like he has to put in so much more work to skate up to speed with them at times, and that could be an issue, especially because they've played so much this postseason. The other part of it is, I don't think he has a ton of defensive support in this over these last 2 games, right? That it's putting more emphasis on what Hutson does. And if you're a number 1 defenseman, like, look, pressure is a privilege, all of that, it's true. But depth matters. The Canes have it. They have 3 pairs that you look at the depth, right? Like, Sean Walker is short, but K'Andre Miller is super tall, so you have that kind of like skating ability alongside him. It just feels like Hudson's been a little bit on an island this postseason at times, and obviously the Canadiens have made some tweaks, like splitting up Dobson and Hutson, I think spreads the wealth a lot more, because the Matheson pair was struggling a ton before that. But it feels like there's so much pressure on Hutson to be the guy on both ends of the ice, because everyone has really slipped the last 2 games, that now the mistakes are a lot more glaring. And then when you make bad decisions like that last night, where you get compared to Evan Bouchard, I mean, I don't think he's the next Evan Bouchard, but it's, a little bit more puck management is going to be important.
I could make a lot of comments there. Evan Bouchard's fucking awesome. Such a good player.
I like Evan
so
Bouchard.
So is Lane Hutson.
Okay.
But yeah, that's not the moment in which you want to be compared to. Although I'll say, and someone responded, because I said like, oh, Evan Bouchard has made that play before, copycat league. And someone responded like, has he ever made it in that moment? And I said no, because he has no mistakes in the Eastern Conference Final ever. What a fucking legend. But it is kind of true that he doesn't have those fuck ups in like huge playoff games. Typically there he's going off. But I have lots of faith in Lane Hutson, and I would be astonished if he goes out this postseason with a whimper. I still think he's the best player on that team. I still think that when I'm playing the Canadiens, I'm terrified. What the fuck are we going to do about 48? So it's a bad day. It's a bad game in what's been a bad series for him. But even if the Canadiens are done, Lane Hutson isn't.
How much does goaltending matter in this series? Because I think that was like a big talking point with Dobej and Anderson, and who's more trustworthy. But at this point, I mean, from my eyes, Dobej has been pretty good, but Anderson has been fine. Yeah.
I mean, listen, the 2 challenges are totally different here too, right? Like, Dobej, you look at it, and I think all postseason we're going workload, and it matters, right? Because heading into the series, I think he was up to 57 games on the entire year, which is more than he's played in, a single season ever. So not only that, you have the repetition of being a starting goaltender, which he's only somewhat acclimated to, especially at this level, right? And it's not even you're a starting goalie. Nobody else is starting for you. You are the goalie, period, the end. So that narrative mattered, and now you're playing a team like the Canes that generates a lot more shots, and even if the shots don't go on net, and sometimes that's the thing, you hear the conversation of, well, the Canes shoot, but they miss a lot, or they're shooting from the outside, and all of that. If you're a goaltender, you still have to be ready for those shots, right? Especially here, like any mistake can, I don't know, end your season. So it's not like his workload has been easy, but I do think he's been fine. I think I expected his puck handling to be a little bit more of a difference maker here because he's someone that is really good at like handling the puck and kind of helping avoid the Canes being able to come in and start forechecking and get to work. And I don't think we saw that enough last night. I think we're seeing it a little bit here, but I wanted to see him pick up the pace in that regard. But with Anderson, the challenge is totally different because you're a goalie that's facing such a low traffic workload. And what makes it even more challenging is when the shots do get through, a lot of them tend to be higher danger. Like that's the name of the game for playing with the Canes. And I think we saw it earlier this season too. Like there was, I remember like HockeyViz had a chart of it and it showed like not just the shot volume, but the space between your shots typically and how the Canes are so far and away from the rest of the teams in the league because of the way they play. And now you pair that with Montreal, who decided they don't need to shoot the puck anymore. It's going to make it even more difficult. But I think that there are ways to beat Anderson by putting up the pressure, and we saw that in game one in some of the rushes. Like, was he exposed? Yes, but he also wasn't great in response to his workload. With Dobesh, I think the only issue here is that sometimes he's a little too aggressive, and you look at the overtime game winner in game two, like he's not even in the blue paint. Like he's completely outside of the crease, and it's like, yeah, that's the way he plays. So the goaltending here, it doesn't feel like is the make or break element of either side of the matchup, but I wonder if we can get to that point, maybe with just some more shots on Anderson, maybe the conversation changes at all, because I think Dobish has been good enough.
Okay, I'm going to use goaltending as a pivot point to the Western Conference Final, and I saw a lot of stuff this morning that was like, what is Toronto going to do if Mitch Marner wins Conn Smythe? And I was like, yeah, who else could win Conn Smythe for them? Oh, fuck. Oh, no. The world would burn down. So I will ask you, why is Vegas so good right now? Why is Vegas up 3-0? Aside from like, try to limit the Avalanche aspect of it and them being banged up and everything, because Vegas is clearly better now than they were 2 months ago.
Right. They are much better now than they were 2 months ago. And having more stable goaltending is definitely a part of the conversation. Now, I am a human and I'm a biased human and I don't care. I'm going to be biased against Vegas's goaltending throughout this. I don't think Carter Hart was otherworldly in round 1 or 2. I don't think he was tested enough. I think he has given them a better chance to win in this series. Do I think that's why the Avalanche are here? No. I mean, like why Vegas is up 3-0 over the Avalanche? No, not really. I don't think that he's like an unbeatable goalie in this situation. I just think that Vegas is doing a really good job getting under the Avalanche's skin. And I think if you had to pick a Conn Smythe candidate, it's going to be Mitch Marner because he's doing a little bit of everything in every single situation. Like, why are they so good on the power play? Well, he's a part of that. Why are they good in shorthanded situations? Because he's disrupting everything, right? Like no teams are able to set up well against them on the power play, and Marner is a huge reason why. And then you look at even strength, he takes on the heaviest matchups and he's still crushing it on both ends of the ice. Like to me, that is the difference in this series. The fact that they have the backing of better goaltending is huge. But I also think part of it's like the Avalanche aren't doing their part here. Like I think rebound control should be a bigger storyline in this series. And I feel like you don't see them getting in position to get those second chances enough. And that's, credit to Vegas's defense. I think at times we've seen Vegas's defense get beat, their speed. And we saw it in game 3 in the first period. Like you're seeing how the Avs have that rush speed to get in behind the defenders and create chances. But when Vegas wants to just flip a switch, they know how to do it, right? This is a team that they look like they've been here before, and they look like the more experienced team. And I think it was so much easier to say that against Utah and Anaheim because they were the more experienced team. Like, play to the whistle. If you don't hear an icing, just keep going, right? Like, it doesn't matter what happens, or you know how to get through overtimes. But I think now we're just seeing this is a team that is just so battle-tested and ready that they're down 3-0 in the first period, and they knew how to take over that game. And I would say it's the two-way play that allowed them to do it more than the goaltending.
And I would say, like, and I mean, I agree with your bias, certainly, but I don't think Carter Hart has been as meaningful to the Golden Knights as Mitch Marner has. I think that you are right, having a good goalie has been meaningful for this run, but I think at the end of the day, if Mitch Marner leads the postseason in points, or if Mitch Marner even leads the Knights in points and they win the Stanley Cup, you have to remember that humans are voting for that award. Like I don't think Carter Hart is actually going to win Conn Smythe, because I think that at the end of the day, if it's close, people are going to look at it and say, I'd rather not vote for that guy.
Yeah, I think that like the discussion is like which player has unlocked the potential of the Vegas Golden Knights more, and I think that Carter Hart is probably the answer to that question, because everybody said like for a large portion of the year, this could be a good team if they had solid goaltending.
Why the fuck couldn't Aiden Hill, who rules,
they found
have
it.
Just had a good year, man?
I mean, but that's like Bruce Cassidy was attached to Aiden Hill and making that work, and it didn't work. And so I think that like what they're getting from Hart right now has helped them realize their potential, but their best player has been Mitch Marner. And that's why I think that if they win the Cup, he's going to win Conn Smythe. Before we like get to that, like where is your belief, if you had to quantify, in the Avalanche keeping their season alive and actually making this a series?
My belief was high after the first period last game. And then my belief was stomped into the ground that we would have a series here. And listen, I'm rooting for a series. Part of me at this point is like, get it over with. We're done here. These rounds are not doing it for me. But on the other hand, I'm like, but they could be. But they totally could be if you could just play well. Yeah, I'm with you on they're getting quality goaltending. They're getting unlocked in the right way. But I still feel like there are ways for the Avs to, I don't know, play to their strengths. And it's tough because they go into the series with someone like Cale Makar injured, and he's someone you can't just replace by committee. I think Vegas has had an easier time when Mark Stone was hurt doing that, because they got William Karlsson back and they have Eichel and they have Marner, and you look at it and go, well, they have all these incredible two-way players. Let them all cook and they'll figure it out. And they have a coach now who's figured out the right buttons to press for the team in front of the blue paint, even more so than saying, okay, the goaltending study. They look like a team again. They're playing to the height of all of their individual skill sets. You put it together and it's like meshing way better. The Avs, like, they need a little bit of everything here. Like the defending, what they allow has been a killer. I think sometimes we're seeing too much Malinsky, and I think he's someone I expected to have a huge postseason, and he's disappointed me in this round, even with Makar back, right? Because now it's okay, you're slotted more appropriately, and then now you're forced to see too much Brent Burns, and it's all just a little bit too chaotic there on the back end for Colorado. And I think up front, they don't have their lines clicking at the same time. It's like the fourth line had their moment and they could, do all this off the forecheck, and that's great and wonderful to have. But now you need the top six to be going. I think Kadri before game 3 was disappointing a bit. And I felt like every puck touch he had in game 2, I'm sitting there questioning, like, what are you doing here? But I do think that this team is a lot better than what we've seen in this round, because we know it. Like, yes, this is the first bit of adversity for them, but like they have all of the depth, all of the star power, even with Makar and McKinnon banged up. That's just the reality of this time of year. And I'm sure Mark Stone's not fully healthy either on the other side of the lineup, but it's the power play needs to get on track a little bit more. I think that they're almost forcing themselves to go through Kadri a little bit too much on that top unit. And sometimes you see the middle of the ice. They could be in position better there to try to do some damage. Maybe they need to tweak those top 2 lines a little bit more and keep shaking it up. Like maybe having Lehkonen and Landeskog. I think putting Lehkonen back with McKinnon was smart, but I don't know if I love it with Landeskog there anymore. So they have all of these players. They should be able to find different combinations that work because they did it so well in the regular season. But obviously, winning one game is one thing. Winning 4 straight is another. It would have been a totally different conversation if this was after, if game 3 they won and we're saying, could they win 4 straight? I would feel totally different.
I'm going to say something pretty damning. The Avalanche over the last couple of games have reminded me of the Bruins in the first round at points where their top guys are not doing anything and they largely look like they've never played together before. Like with how disjointed their offense is, how much trouble they have handling the puck, and like their best players look like the guys at the bottom of the lineup at certain points, and that's just not good enough to beat these teams. And then like on top of that, like they've had mid goaltending, which is worse than what the Bruins have had. So like that to me is like, I never expected Colorado to be in that spot.
Especially when, like Shayna said, this is their first bit of adversity, and you kind of hit this yesterday. If you've played and eliminated the Minnesota Wild without really having any adversity, you're fucking awesome. Like
Right.
they were such a well-oiled machine.
But they were also very banged up.
Yeah.
If this ends tonight or in game 5, do you fire Jared Bednar?
Yeah, I think that might be the next logical step here. But he's not the only coach I'm getting rid of. Like, a power play coach would be very important to have, okay? Like, you watch round 2 and you go, are the Avs good on the power play, or the Wild just that bad shorthanded, which we already knew they were from round 1, and now you watch it this series and you're like, oh, no. The Avs power play actually sucks too, and it shouldn't. They have all the personnel in the world, and I get it. They already moved on from Ray Bennett, and, they made the change once, but you could say that. Like, the Avs are one of these unique teams around the NHL where they don't just say something goes wrong, change the coach. And it's because, one, they actually have a good one in Bednar, and things haven't gone that wrong. Even when they've gone out in round 1 in years past, or they haven't gone on a deep enough run, I don't look at it and go, oh my God, the coaching is the problem necessarily, because they have such a good team and they've figured out enough that it, you could go back to last year and say, well, maybe they moved too many pieces. Maybe they didn't have the juice, right? They didn't have that time to play together. Now they have all the time in the world. They've tested every combination in the regular season, and it's still not working in the playoffs, that you're like, okay, maybe there's a conversation to have here. I think Bednar is a great coach, but at a certain point, like, every coach has a shelf life. His has been very long, but if you can't get it together with this team, and I don't think he's pushing the right buttons here at all, and I don't think that they have the answers in any which way, you might need to have that conversation of saying, you know what, it's not Hackstall behind the bench. He's part of the problem, but maybe you need a completely new voice. So Bednar has to go. But then, who do you replace him with is going to be the next conversation, because unless there's a good answer for that, and there could be, totally could be.
Everyone's saying, everyone's going to say Carl.
Everyone is going to say Carl. And am I writing a story about NCAA to NHL coaches right now, and I'm going to wait now to see what happens with the Avs for that very reason, because I'm saying Carl? Yeah. Like, it makes far too much sense because of the location of it all. And also, if you're David Carl and you're going to take a job in the NHL, I would want to go with the team that I know has a good track record of, not firing their coach every 2 years. So I would be like, this is the move here. So, but I don't think it's necessarily you only fire Bednar if you can have Carl as a replacement. But I also think you need an answer that's not, the names floating around right now. I don't think saying you need Cassidy or Laviolette. Like, I think you have to be super creative here if you're Colorado. And I'll give them credit versus a lot of the other teams. It feels like they're more willing to go out of the box when it comes to roster decisions and when it comes to coaching. But if they get swept here, I think that's the most logical answer.
Would you have any hesitation about Cassidy based on what Vegas is doing?
Yeah, a little bit there. It's not like Cassidy is like I don't think there's the perfect coach out there. Okay. So like the bar is already low. I think sometimes with coaches, like we don't truly know how great they are, because in the NHL, we also don't always know like the full capacity of the rest of their staff, right? Like for some teams, what's the head coach's job? Are you a people manager? Are you a tactician? Are you deciding the system and telling someone to implement it? Or how much are you letting your assistants and associate coaches cook? Like, we don't know that. And if we had a better answer of that, I think we'd do a much better job of evaluating coaches in a sport that's always going to be tough to evaluate. But when you look at Vegas specifically, and you look at how good this team is on both ends of the ice and how poorly they were playing, right? Because I think you could say at times like their rush game wasn't strong enough, or the forecheck wasn't as strong as it should have been. They weren't as in sync as they should have been. I think another team could want to Bruce Cassidy and be right in that decision. But if I'm Colorado and you look at the pressure of their situation, the ages of their core, and how good the West is around them, I think I'd want a little bit more certainty here, or just someone that's a little more out of the box that you can really let them, make this team their own and put their stamp on it in a way that Bednar did. With Cassidy, I feel like you're going to bring him in for a couple of years and then he's going to be moving on to the next job.
He's Torts. That's why we liked it when they brought in Torts. We were like, they're just hitting the reset button on that counter. Yeah. But like my question there, and I feel like this is kind of an obvious one, is if Vegas is standing in the way of a team like Edmonton speaking to Cassidy.
First I've heard of this.
Why the hell, if they're going to do that, would they open it up to Colorado to speak
yeah.
to Cassidy. Like that to
Well,
me
yeah.
is kind of both the same. Whether if they're going to allow one of them, they're probably going to allow both of them, but more than likely they're going to allow neither of them.
And I mean, the problem they might be creating for themselves is guess who's suddenly going to say, all right, we want to interview John Tortorella now. Every
Right.
team that they're fucking around with, they're going to be like, hey, John, before you sign that extension, let us just choose to add $10 million to whatever contract you're going to get from the Golden Knights because we'll meet with you. We'll offer you something ridiculous. Fuck these guys.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll care. I don't think Tortorella will care. I think he'll be like, whatever, if I want to stay in Vegas, I'm staying in Vegas. Like, I feel like he'd be unfazed by that. Any other coach, I think you have something there. But no,
Yeah,
they're
fair.
not. If they're not going to let Edmonton, you could say, well, they're in the division. Okay, why aren't the Leafs interviewing Bruce Cassidy? Because it always comes back to the Leafs, right? And why would you do it someone like the team you think you have to go through in the Western Conference Final in theory if you want to keep doing this? Like, I wonder how much it's going to be. They're just not doing it during the playoffs to set everyone off to a delay and hold up the entire coaching market, which actually, the more I think about it, the more I'm going to say, this actually might be brilliant by Vegas here. Like, give me a sec. They don't have a coach for next season. We don't know
That
what
is
Tortorella's going to
true.
do. You know, like why let everyone settle in their coaches so everyone has a coach by the draft? If you're Vegas, you might not have a coach by the draft. Why the hell would you let anybody else? This is actually a competitive advantage. Well, I think it's wrong to do to Bruce Cassidy. I'm also like, Bruce Cassidy is getting his full salary. He's probably going to get a job. It's just that they don't want the distraction. No. They want the coaching market to be in shambles by the time their season ends. So why not just keep the chaos going? Maybe they're onto something. This is the rare time I'm saying this year. Maybe Vegas has a point.
We are going
You're winning me over with that argument.
Yeah.
I hadn't really considered that
I just
element
honestly
of it.
just made it up on the spot. Just came to me. I've been trying
We're
to figure
gonna
out the answer.
We're going to put out a Vegas's brilliant social clip that will
God.
lose you any social media followers you have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would tell everyone, rewind to when I say I don't like Carter Hart. Let's put it in writing. I don't like Carter Hart, and I'm biased against him.
We'll
And
cut
just put
that,
that
don't
on
worry.
repeat, okay?
It's a long. This
We'll
show is
cut
very
that.
long. With the retention and everything, it's got to be shorter.
Last one
Yeah.
from me. Where are you on Marty Necas and who he is? Because
Pete's got to scratch this itch. Avalanche fans have given Pete shit since we did our reaction to him signing his extension, where Pete was like, I feel like that's an A contract for a B player. And every time Marty Necas does anything, Avalanche fans, I know this does not sound like Avalanche fans, are like, we're going to be mad.
thank you for explaining it
Yeah.
for me, so I don't seem like. But it's true. Like they're like, where this is your B tier player, huh? He's got 100 points, and I'm like, okay, he's outperformed. By the way, the contract hasn't fucking started yet, so the take can't really age poorly. Not having the best playoffs, has one goal. Where are you on what Marty Necas is?
Okay, so this take, you guys are the rare podcast I actually kind of listened to, so I actually knew this take already. I'm a noted podcast hater, and I heard that take and I'm like, didn't agree with it in the moment because I think he's more like, that's an A contract for a B plus player that's going to become an A minus player. And maybe in this system has the A potential. Like I liked it because I thought he clicked so well here, but the playoff pedigree is an important part of the conversation. And that was a criticism for him in Carolina, right? And I think with the Canes, it was tough to say, is it the Canes or is it him? Because he went against the grain so much in the years they weren't doing that. Like Marty Necas in the playoffs right now for the Avs, for the Canes would probably be incredible. Like him and Ehlers going at the same time, having that spread across your top nine. But that's not the era he was in. So it's tough to know how much of it was on him. And then you see him at the Olympics and you see him doing things on a much weaker team and you're like, let him cook. I was curious about this. Yesterday, I started looking into it because I was going to write a little bit on him, but then, they had to lose a game and now everything's changed. I was curious if he was having as many puck touches on the power play because I feel like that's something I want to see his one-timer get some more looks on that top unit, and I do feel like he's not getting enough. He's actually shooting the puck at a higher rate in the postseason on the power play than he did in the regular season, and the shot quality is technically better, but I still feel like they're running a little bit through Kadri that he's being maximized enough in those situations somehow, despite shooting the puck more. So now I want to dive deeper into that and figure out what's going wrong exactly with him, because I feel like that should be his weapon a little bit more in the situation. But I think at even strength, you're seeing the frustration get to him at times, and he gets demoted, and then you notice it even more when he takes multiple penalties on a single shift. I think that he is a very good player. I think that he's obviously much better when he plays with McKinnon, but I'm not against the idea of him playing with Brock Nelson. I just don't know if he's playing up to his heights. I thought we saw a little bit more in the earlier rounds, and maybe this is just the seasoning he needs. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. Like, you learn to do it in the playoffs is one thing. Now learn to do it against an actual team, like actual competition. And these are the playoff style teams. Like, Vegas wins. Everyone's going to try to be the next Vegas, right? Even if they don't win, they made it further than anyone else. Everyone's going to be taking notes. Like,
Fucking
Who?
I mean,
where are they going to find their players?
yeah, they're going to be the bad guys of everyone, but just like stylistically, right? Like, then you have to figure out how do you get through a disruptive team like that. I think he has all the skill in the world, and I just think it's a matter of helping him channel it better. Maybe a new coach does that. Maybe a new power play coach does that. And the power play coach, keep in mind, generally works with the forward. So maybe it's the Hackstall of it all right now that's hurting him. I don't know. But I feel like he needs to work on his game getting through disruptions a little bit better. And I think that's true at even strength and on the power play. And I think he's much better than we've seen here. But if he doesn't get it together soon, we're going to have that conversation, right? About, is it a playoff thing? Similar to guys like Ehlers in years past in the last 2 seasons. We're not talking about that anymore.
I fucking love Ehlers being a dog in the playoffs. I said it yesterday, because you listen to the podcast, which rules. Chat, by the way, said Shayna is too smart for podcasts, but she has time for shenanigans. I'm choosing to believe that is why, because we try to be a shenanigans podcast. I said yesterday, I know that going out and signing the best free agent when there are no free agents is hardly a bold move, but knowing that Tulsky did that amidst trying to do a million fucking things, trying to offer sheet guys and trying to like throw huge money at defensemen, and he's like, you know what? I've taken all these swings and I haven't been able to do everything I want to do. Well, fuck it. Ehlers is there and I'm signing that guy, and he ends up paying off. Absolutely love it. Rooting for Tulsky, rooting for each and every other Tulsky. Pete kind of had you grade one of his declarations, and I would like to leave off doing the same. Last week, after Megan Duggan got the GM gig in Hamilton, I said that I feel now going forward, maybe people with PWHL and NHL management experience will make it so the candidates, each time an NHL gig pops up, will no longer be so small. Now you can look at people who say, well, they were a director of player development in the NHL, then they went and they were a GM in the PWHL. Let's say, like, can we bring in this person, male or female, with this experience to be, say, an assistant GM? And that way you are broadening who gets all these jobs. That was my declaration. Sean basically said, oh, honey, and pointed to the sexism of the NHL. Is that just all optimism, or could we be onto something?
Two things are true, but I'm kind of with Sean here. I think the bar is going to be so much higher for women, even if they have that PWHL experience, because then you're like, okay, do it in a 32-team league or do it at this level. Oh, it's so different. Blah, blah, blah. When, like, I'm sorry, if you're you're in women's hockey, you have like a quarter of the brain cell to do a huge job because they don't give you the resources that you would get at the NHL level. Like, I don't care who you are. You could be Mike Sullivan going in to coach the Sirens tomorrow, and it's somehow going to be like 3,000 times more difficult than it would have been to coach a shitty Rangers team because you don't have the resources to do it. And I think the prime example of that would be like San Jose having Troy Ryan doing 2 jobs. It's like you're going to be a jack of all trades instead of a master of none if you're a general manager and a coach. So I think the bar is just so much higher in the NHL because they're so full of shit that they're not going to use this as this is a springboard to having all of these candidates. It should be. If you could do it at the PWHL, right, and you look at what Corey Chevry has done in Montreal, I would be looking at her for every, NHL job. And even if you say, okay, I don't think someone coming from the PWHL and be an NHL head coach on day one, but they could be an associate, like, great, let's have that conversation. Like, it's a stepping stone. I am asking for a crumb here. But then again, you look at it on the other way, it depends on the team. Montreal Canadiens pick Marty St. Louis. Yes, he's a Hall of Fame player and elite in every regard, but he has like no coaching experience. And look at him now. Look at him
Speaks French, though.
But he speaks French. Well, there's coaches and general managers in the PWHL who speak French. We have 2 markets right now, right, that also speak French. So maybe that's the opening. But I think it's going to depend on the team. I think that if you want someone to have different front office seasoning, to be able to go back and forth would be fascinating to see. And I think it's something that would help NHL front offices too, to see how people can do it without all of these resources, and how you have to be more out of the box and how you have to be more creative would be something you should want. I don't care that you have $1 billion to spend on your front office and invest in every single thing in the world. You should want people that can play it a little scrappier. And I think, pulling from both pools would help. I don't think we're there yet though, because I just think the NHL is a snobby league.
God damn. So I'm 0 for 2 on this. In a couple of years, there's going to be even something. Just give me like some sort of what's better than a lateral move?
A
perpendicular one?
Yeah, like a perpendicular move, something like that. If we can get like someone going like NHL, let's say go NHL, step up to PWHL, and then even do a lateral move to that gig in the NHL. As you say, asking for a crumb, just give me that. And because I to my detriment, I believe in people. I hate to think that owners and presidents are like, must be exactly this thing that it's always been. Like, give someone an interview, see what happens. Again, as I said last week, my goal is to just make as many people candidates for these gigs as possible, because going back to when leagues only had white people, the competition was not as good. How could it be if everybody wasn't allowed to be involved in it? So I think this can be a step towards that, but I do understand your and Sean's realism. Happy birthday, Shayna. Thank you so much for spending it with us. Your cake is in the mail.
Wow,
Young Gritty
an
sent
honor,
it.
a privilege. I respect the optimism.
Don't eat
Even
that.
if I don't buy it, thank you.
Yes. All right, bye, Shayna.
You're the best, Shayna.
Bye. You can
Happy birthday.
You can read
Thank you.
Shayna's story on David Carl. Definitely going to the Edmonton Oilers, I believe, is what this piece is going to be.
Sure.
Actually, I wouldn't want that.
Sure,
for David
Jan.
Carl. I would hate that, because then from the bat, people would be like, he didn't want to be there. They must have just given him some insane bag, and then it would all be miserable and bad. Sean, how's that feel? You get confirmation from the old birthday girl.
Yeah, I mean, at my first, I fist pumped at first, and then I was like, "Oh, I don't want to be right about this." It's not a good thing.
Yes,
it's
Yes,
nice
women
being
are
silenced.
yeah, like, it's nice. Having smart people agree with you always feels good, at least at first. But yeah, again, it's not. I want you to be right, and I agree with everything Shayna said. Like, it most certainly should work that way, but I don't know that it's going to.
Okay, we have this from the NHL today. They posted 16 teams chase the cup, famously. 16 fans win the shoes, as the saying goes. Mm-hmm. Enter for your chance to win a pair of hashtag cup chasers at NHL.com/ you guessed it, cup chasers. I'm clicking this link. I'm looking at these shoes. It's big time shout out. Have you seen the film The Wizard of Oz?
I have.
There's this dude, the Cowardly Lion. Imagine him in those.
Yeah. It would be
The Cowardly Lion. That's the one you're going with?
It's very, very Tin Man forward. It's a Tin Man forward get up there. Would you wear those?
no. Who the fuck wants those?
I feel like
they're-
somebody famously wear like silver sneakers?
Well,
Probably.
maybe
As
I know
part of their look?
Trump very famously sells golden sneakers.
That piss?
I just wonder, like, ring chasing is typically viewed as a derogatory statement or a criticism of players. Cup chasing, we want to sell that, we want to brand that, and we want it to look like those shoes, because those shoes, trash. They're some trash-ass shoes.
I kind of want them not to ever wear. Like, you'll never see me with those on my body, but it's like that'd be a fun little thing to have. Like,
It'd be
I have
great
the
set
worst shoes
dressing.
ever made. Yeah, exactly.
If that were on your set, if you just had a shelf that had the sneakers.
Ooh.
Oh, you know what? I'm looking at these, and
don't say it.
tail you, Sean, on wanting them. I'm not wearing them.
Yeah.
But
okay.
did you
You
wait?
scared me for a second. I thought you were gonna be like, actually,
I'm going to
kind of like these shoes.
I'm going to quickly get on my Photoshop bullshit and send you something. All right. So, because I'm looking at it, and if you bring back the If you could bring back that image, let's see. I'm rotating.
Somebody said that these would be great for the woman in Edmonton who dresses as the Stanley Cup.
Mama Stanley.
Mama Stanley.
Okay, Sean, check your texts. I am sending a crude screen grab that I have rotated because, as Sean brings it up, you look at these shoes and like the Stanley Cup, they're
engraved.
Engraved. No one's engraving shoes anymore.
I would say that that's probably for the best.
How can we know? How can we know until we've walked a mile in these shoes?
I think if you walk a mile in those shoes, you're not going to be able to read half that text because you're going to have creases and you're going to have...
These things would crease up bad.
Bad. Yeah, these shoes stink.
Unless, I don't know. Wait, what kind of information is available on this website about... what's on NHL.com/cupchasers? What can they tell us? It asks where I live, USA or Canada. It's your business.
Wants your information.
Yeah. It does come in a nice box.
It's like a briefcase.
Yeah. Oh, it's No Bull. I don't know in case we ever advertise with No Bull, pretend you didn't hear this part. I see people link up with No Bull.
No Bull.
What's the story there?
I think it's like pronounced noble.
Oh, is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Noble, but it's spelled like no BS.
Yes.
We've made it this whole time without saying what are those? That's a feather in our cap.
That's true. I don't have a problem with Noble. I've never used any of their stuff, but
yeah, I'm just saying
they're making a real push.
Yeah, I don't know about it. And I just see every day there's a new, it's like the Kalshi of footwear. Predictive footwear.
That's right. It's predicting the Stanley Cup winners this year. Yeah, that's about all my thoughts on these. Just kind of a bad shoe. Ugly.
The briefcase does have a tag on it that says 1 of 16. So you know how exclusive it is.
Very cool, I guess.
I don't hate these. I'm not wearing them. They're ugly and bad, but I definitely want them for the set.
Good luck.
Or at the very least, yeah. You know what? After the show, I'm going to enter. Everybody else, you're encouraged.
I'm absolutely entering it. Worst case, I get a free. Doesn't hurt to have them. They're not gonna kill you.
Yes.
Somebody might kill you for those. People have been killed for shoes.
Not wrong.
Mm-hmm. We've got a Today in Worlds accompanied by a new introduction graphic that Pete made. Do you have that, Sean? It's Today in Worlds with a spinning globe that says Today in Worlds. Pete, what do you got for us?
Where do we want to start? Because I have two items. One of them is, all right, let's start with Josh Szymanski, because I've seen a lot of discourse about you should watch Worlds because the ref cams are cool. Now we have ref cams with accompanying audio, and this was an exchange that a referee had with Josh Szymanski, I believe, this week.
Josh, I'm just going to fix your jersey. They want to see your number. Probably don't have to do that in Edmonton, huh? You like it there? Yeah, a little bigger than Straubing, huh? Yeah, a little bit. Different. And Erding? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they love each other.
I was going to say, are they flirting?
They love each other. I fucking love, and I love Worlds.
What's a better shot? The coffee cup to Caden Gooley or referee being like, let me get you right, sir?
Well, we know that Caden Gooley kept the cup, but maybe that was because he was in a... theoretically, he could have not appreciated that, and he was just in a hurry. Didn't have a sleeve to cover up all that yapping that was on there. That's to say, we don't know for sure how Caden felt about all of that. Josh Szymanski started off a little, kind of had his guard up, but as that went on, he was having some fun with it. I think it's great. I think it's really cute.
Does it, though, got to ask the question, does it lend to the seriousness of Worlds? Or are we using this as ammunition to say, Mickey Mouse tournament, they're fucking grab-assing out there?
I mean, refs grab ass with players, though.
In the middle of the playoffs and meaningful tournament games?
I don't know about it because I don't know if that's a playoff or if that's a meaningful game.
That's what I'm saying.
I got to plead ignorance there, but refs do grab ass with the players and they get all cutesy with them like that.
I've just seen a lot of screaming at refs and saying, "Call the fucking dive, you dumb bitch!" in the NHL playoffs. And
when in the
different
game,
vibe over there.
When in the game was that? I'm assuming that Szymanski didn't just come out looking like an absolute slob, so maybe it was later in the game. But beginning of the game, there's a lot of Hey, good to see you. Well, where do you live now? Oh, I don't live there. Oh, nice, cool. They do try to curry favor with one another.
Somebody, I think Sarah in the chat said, Worlds is all about meet cutes. And that's kind of where I'm at.
On and off the ice.
Yeah, for real.
I'll take that.
So the other item for Worlds is this song that was posted from the Jumbotron.
I have no
yesterday.
fucking time for this.
Let's hear it.
Inside, the ice is ready and the energy is high. Listen to the beat, focus in line. It's time to shine. Respect the players, the refs and the crew. Respect the fans sitting next to you. The staff, the team, the volunteers. Give them respect, give them cheers. Keep the air fresh, keep the lungs clear. No smoking, no vaping, not in here. No lasers, no beams, don't throw a thing. The puck is the only object in the ring. Heads up, stay sharp, don't lose your love. Stay safe and watch that flying puck. When the siren sounds and the game is done, leave the arena fast.
Leave the arena fast.
That's the code on Swiss ice today. Bring the action, let the teams play. It's time to shine.
Chad asked, are those the Taylor Swift chords? Yes, of course they're the Taylor Swift chords. I love having a lot of fun with funny things that we find in the game. I saw that yesterday on Twitter, and I was like, I hope that does not make it to this rundown. I hope it does not make it to our show, because we did some of the Nashcast AI, like 55 different versions of the same song. That was 2 hours long. That was AI slop.
It had to cover the entirety of the rules and behavior grades for Worlds.
So that's where I give it respect.
Leave the arena fast is my favorite part. Get the fuck out
Tell
of
us
here.
everything to do that we could ever need to be told in our lives. What do we wear into this thing? Are there bathrooms here? Is there food? When does the game start? When they say it's on ice, is it on ice? What are skates? How many guys are there? Why is it all men out there? Is there a women's league? These are the questions that are answered by that song.
Do we know for sure that that's AI slop? Do we know for sure that that's AI slop?
No, we don't. And if we've talked about this, if you make something that looks like it can be AI, sometimes that's on you.
Yeah, I guess. But I'll tell you what.
I don't believe a human could get that energetic in singing those lyrics.
You have not watched Disney. Did you watch Disney Channel growing up?
I was a little old for that.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of like they absolutely could. Absolutely could. That's all. There's like a whole industry made off that kind of weird energy that kind of feels like children were given cocaine.
You know, it kind of reminds me of like, do you know that the band that I always see on Instagram, and they say that the lead singer sounds like Jack Black, and he gets like real crazy with his vocals, and they do a bunch of covers. It's like a fun weird band that they do like fun reels. I could see them doing that. So I'm not willing to say this is absolutely AI, but that's kind of where the separating line is for me. If it's not AI, I'm in. That's a bop. It's fun. It's ridiculous.
I feel like
I'm for sure in on it. But if it's AI, makes me feel bad.
Yeah. If that happens to somehow have been AI, we've got some qualms with it. Okay, but innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
We don't know that that's AI. So
Artistic integrity.
Yep. Shout out whoever made that, because it was for sure real people.
Yes.
I was just going to say, I feel like the graphics on the Jumbotron made it a million times worse. Like,
oh no, I made it so much better.
Well,
like
it's called a lyric video,
yeah.
Sean.
I don't think those things are mutually exclusive in this case. Like, I think making it worse is making it better, because this is not a good song. Like, I think it just made it like goofier and more cartoonish, having the everyone spelled out with all the O's as they're telling everyone to get the fuck out of the arena. Like, that's insane.
Yes.
It just makes it so much goofier.
I love it.
It's not my kind of thing. And I love ridiculous bad things that happen in hockey that we can bring to the table here. And it's not even just like entirely a moral thing. I'm just like, what the fuck is that now? Jesus.
I mean, if I was in the arena, I think I'd be going kind of nuts during that thing.
Dude,
I mean, that would be cool if
yeah.
if you had like a gummy and you were at the arena. First 10 seconds, you'd be like, this is a weird AI thing. And then 3 minutes later, you're like, it's telling me that I need to validate my parking on the way out. It's telling me how to pay for my parking and which elevators to take. This is they're really holding our hand through this whole evening, aren't they?
I'm not prepared to defend AI. So in the case that this is AI, but I will say that every arena ever gives all these kinds of instructions. And similar to flying on a plane, I don't listen to that shit. This got my attention. And if the purpose is safety and this gets people's attention more than a normal thing, then I guess that is ultimately a net positive.
Someone said DJ is being a music snob for not fucking liking this or for not being super stimulated by this. Are you fucking kidding me? This whole, like, DJ's a music snob or like, hey, DJ, music's subjective. Your opinion about music is subjective. Music itself is a real fucking thing that was made by real people, ideally. Not anymore, I guess. But yeah, not liking AI stuff. Oh yeah, what a fucking snobby, snooty thing to think.
I do love the idea of discussing like 80% of the conversation. Is this AI? And the remaining 20 being like, you fucking music snob. You didn't enjoy that?
Yeah, that's a good song, man. A lot of people like that song.
I do like that.
It's doing
I
numbies.
do like that song.
I like that song.
What would you rather do, Sean? Hear that song again or win the shoes?
I mean, win the shoes, obviously.
Me too.
So the shoes are forever. The song is only 3 hours.
Okay. Someone says, DJ, I dare you to take those lyrics and write a better song. Challenge rejected. Challenge denied. You are not forcing that into my life. What, to prove that song is bad? I'm going to fucking do work? No. And again,
I feel like it'd be a better challenge to write a new song, new lyrics that deliver the same points.
Like maybe it's a little metaphorically stuff that makes you think about all those times you waited until there was a stoppage in play before walking back to your seats. Some imagery that says that without saying it, you know?
Some people in chat vehemently exclaiming that this is not AI. I think we even saw a attribution to a Swiss singer-songwriter by the name of Bastian Baker.
Okay, I will say, maybe it is a Bastian Baker thing. If so, congratulations, Sebastian. Get your Sebag.
Nina Bean and Baker collab.
But a lot of AI things are attributed to like AI people. Like songs will come out and they'll say like, hey, this is by Pete Blackburn, and Pete Blackburn is, and they'll say like written by people, and it's an AI thing.
Oh no, but this is a real person.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, Bastian Baker. Don't call him Sebastian. That's not his name.
Oh, it's Bastian Baker.
Bastian Baker, yes. I will say though, I went to his Twitter and just kind of
third generation professional hockey player.
I'll tell you what, I went to his Twitter and I'm looking at some of the videos that he posted. The videos kind of look like AI. So not amazing, but we'll effort this. I am definitely going
Pete will effort this.
Yes. I will not. I don't effort. I will continue to effort though in just making the Today in Worlds selections things that will piss you off drastically.
I mean, I don't know if it pisses me off. I'm just, it's dystopian and weird to me.
Worlds?
Yes, exactly.
Worlds is dystopian.
What do we have? Like, I would have rather heard a Fisher cat there, because at least a Fisher cat.
A lot of people not knowing what a Fisher cat is.
I didn't know they were real things. I thought that was just a name they came
like a
up
baseball
with
thing
for a minor league team. Yeah,
It is apparently it's just called a fisher. The fisher is a carnivorous mammal native to North America. All I know about Fisher cats now is one, that they scream horrific screams in the middle of the night, and two, they're known for ripping the heads off of small animals.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Is
they are
it a-
vicious
So they're just like a
motherfuckers.
ferret. They're
Yeah,
like a
pretty
ferret
much.
type of thing.
Are you sure that they've always been called fishers? Or is this like was like Fisher Cat problematic and then like the students wanted them to change the name to Fisher? I think
I've only heard it referred to as a Fisher cat, but what I'm looking up on the internet right now is saying Fisher.
The
how that
etymology
cat
of the
learned to
name,
fish.
It doesn't eat fish.
I don't know.
It does not eat fish.
It's the name is instead related to the word fitch, meaning European polecat or pelt thereof, due to the resemblance to that animal. The name comes from the colonial Dutch equivalent to fizz or fizz.
Someone said did you say this? They eat cats? Shout out Bear.
They eat cats and they like rip the heads off of cats.
Shout out Nikki.
Yes, correct.
How many games we got tonight, Sean? 10?
Yep.
Vegas Golden Knights looking to. I just need a fucking. What do we have?
Oh yeah.
What?
I need palate cleansers,
Dude.
On that.
These things hunt and kill Canada lynx. Like those like scary ass big cats.
Dude, those things are some of my favorite animals ever. Those things are so sick.
They hunt and kill those things. These
Well,
little
then you don't
ferret
like Fisher
motherfuckers kill those things.
They crush the
Oh, they're
skulls
like-
of
they're like
porcupines,
honey
says
badgers.
chat.
I think that
I
they are
bet you
one
they're
of the
related to
only
honey badgers.
animals that eats porcupines.
I mean,
Yeah,
You
they
don't
are
need
one
to
of the
floss
few animals to
afterwards.
prey successfully on porcupines.
how do you eat a porcupine?
These things are psychotic. It seems like a fake animal.
At the very, I would say that based on all this information, I like that they make this noise.
No, I think this animal kind of. Well, yeah. First
Imagine
off,
if
you wanna know
those
where it's at at
fuckers
all
were
times.
stealth.
We're silent.
Yeah, right.
It can climb trees, just chooses not to.
Oh
Spends
my
most of the time
God.
on the floor.
Fishers are one of the few predators that seek out and kill porcupines. Stories in popular literature indicate that fishers can flip a porcupine onto its back
Yep.
and, quote, scoop out its belly like a ripe melon.
Yeah, boy.
Just have the
these
melon,
things kinda-
dog.
I like when you get into like the animal kingdom. I like killers. Those things are. I like a predator, an apex predator. It's giving, so it's a major honey badger vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
definitely
sure.
giving honey
Fisher
badger.
cat don't care. Fisher cat don't give a fuck.
Give me the slate again. VGK hosting the Colorado Avalanche. They can stamp their ticket to the Stanley Cup final. They're third in, how many years have they been around?
8?
6?
9?
8?
9 years? 9?
9 sounds about right. You can effort
Can
that,
I make
Sean. Yep.
a declaration? Last night I officially realized / decided that I am fully on your side, DJ. I am Carolina Hurricanes down.
Oh, yeah.
Like I thought that like I would be able to put past the fact that the Habs beat the Sabres and that I was just, like they're just a more fun team with players that I want to see succeed. I can't. I don't want to see them win right now. I would rather see the Habs do it, especially considering that it seems like Vegas is going to be their opponent, and I don't want that to happen either,
And
obviously.
if the Carolina Hurricanes reach the Stanley Cup final, I think some folks will be getting some content that was discussed yesterday. And that was possibly, since the ESPN stuff, the most outreach I've gotten after we've put a clip out. And the outreach was like exclusively, please tell me you're doing this, and or can I be a part of it? So watch out, Raleigh. If you win two more games, the count of the Tulski going up.
Can I make clear, though, that this is very much like a Suicide Squad situation? I'm not a Canes fan. I need, even if I'm generally not rooting for the Carolina Hurricanes, I need the bad guys. These are the good bad guys. These are the bad guys that I need to stop the even badder guys from succeeding.
No,
I mean, if the Habs win the series and it is Canadiens, Vegas Golden Knights, I've said previously, I cannot and will not ever root for the Canadiens to win the Stanley Cup.
You have only one choice.
God would really be testing me. Would really be testing me.
I mean, making you a Golden Knights fan for the series, who could we say is like your favorite player,
Mitch Marner,
in a way that
I mean,
makes
it would.
no
It
one
would.
mad.
I would literally be
Marner.
rooting for Mitch Marner because it would destroy Maple Leafs fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's kind of the camp that I'd have to sit in.
All right. Pete making his plans to be a Vegas Golden Knights fan. Don't forget it. The lone game tonight, yes, is Game 4 of the Western Conference Final. The Vegas Golden Knights trying to punch that ticket. Game's on at 9 Eastern in the United States and Canada. I didn't know that was going on there.
9?
That's the latest we've gotten
For
in
sure,
the conference final. All right. Not bad.
Trying to extend the Colorado Avalanche season as long as they can, regardless of what happens.
Just pushing it back an hour. Let's try to figure out what happens in this one. Brought to you by Sports Interaction, Sportsbook and Casino. Every game is your game, and you bet with Sports Interaction. Bet the action on every period, every shift, every shot with Canada's homegrown sportsbook. Sports Interaction, Ontario only 18 plus. Please play responsibly. You've got the Golden Knights, I believe, are finally back to being home favorites. Let me just check on the odds converter here. Yeah, they are.
You think the Avs are actually going to get swept?
I'm thinking. What's the first period line for the Colorado Avalanche?
Oh.
Win another first period. Got a lot of desperation heading into that opening frame. Could be into that.
Let me see. I mean, we could do team to score the first goal. It's basically a pick 'em there, but let's see. First,
I know predictions aren't really your guys' bag, but like,
What do you mean?
you're not getting on the show being like predicting who's going to win each game.
well, it's just not interesting.
That's
No
what I'm
one
saying.
cares.
But like, do you actually think the Avs are going to get swept tonight?
Everything is pointing to
that's
yes.
very hard for me. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, I get that, but it's very hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that this Colorado Avalanche team's going to get swept. It's not like they just shit the bed when they got to the playoffs. It's the conference finals, man.
But that's part of the reason why I think that they probably are
know.
going to get swept is because I can't wrap my head around any of this shit. And,
valid.
and not in a million years did I think that the series would look like it has through 3 games. So why the fuck not just change that to 4 games and wrap this shit up?
Okay, Avalanche to win the first period is minus 118, but the Avalanche to score 2 goals in the first period
That's
would
like crazy.
Okay, so you think they'll be up 1-0 after the first period?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's plus 110 for them to score 2 goals in the first period. I think that's a little less likely. If you just want them to win the first period, but I could also see it being 2-2 after the first period, which is why I'm kind of tempted to jump into maybe over one goal.
What's the total over on the first period? We can go that way.
Let me see. First period over 1.5 goals is, let's see, minus 128.
I like
over
that.
2.5 goals is, I mean, that feels a little more fun. Over 2.5 goals is plus 240.
Let's do that.
We do 3 goals in the first period.
Yeah.
All right. That's plus 240, and it's 3.4 if you're doing it by decimals. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction. From puck drop to overtime, bet with live odds on every play with easy deposits and payouts. Go to sportsinteraction.com/whatchaos to open an account. Ontario only 19 plus. Please play responsibly.
Ballet talk. I could see it being 2-2.
Oh, 2-2. I did mean to note off the top, I shout out luxury trash. I was going to say the New York Knicks are problematic for being in the NBA Finals because they made Timothée Chalamet happy. And Timothée Chalamet said, fuck the ballet. And we're out here hiring ballet dancers to rub it in his face.
I'm
so if
Antifa.
you support the New York Knicks, just know you hate ballet.
I'm Antifa because Anne Hathaway is having a fucking year, man.
That's true.
New York Knicks to the NBA final. Arsenal won the Premier League. She's got a lot of movies. And that's about it. And she's Anne Hathaway. Just the best year in human history for a human.
She's having a good year. She's having a good year. Gotta see. Actually, you don't. You don't have to see Devil Wears Prada 2. But I enjoyed it. I had a
see it
fun
on my
time
couch.
with it.
I'll wait to see it on my couch.
Okay. Super chats.
Well, yes.
We got him.
Yummy Loser Point says, Laviolette, head coach for the Kings. Thoughts? I think Laviolette is going to get hired by somebody this coaching cycle. Luxury Trash says, happy birthday to the Disney Prince of Long Island, Matt Barzell, and also Sean.
And also Shayna.
Also Shayna. Maybe she just misspelled Shayna when she wrote Sean. From Stephanie, nice shirt, DJ. Yes, LA Kings, Armenian heritage, inch best as my friends. Jose on the air says, barista seeing this like, oops, I'm flirting. Luxury Trash said, I would like to amend my earlier happy birthday super chat to also include Shayna alongside Matt Barzal and also Sean. Lemon Venture says, I got made redundant sitting in OT at Worlds on Thursday. Then I got an invite to a third round interview with an NHL team during intermission at Worlds on Friday. Can't call Worlds boring after that.
Hell yeah. Congratulations. Also, what does I got made redundant mean?
It means laid off.
Oh.
Right? I think
don't know.
that's what that means.
That's the first time I've ever seen it phrased that way.
Well, they'll say like, it's not that we're getting rid of you. It's that your job doesn't need to exist anymore. So we didn't get rid of you.
It means that your job was eliminated, not that you are getting fired from a position.
Oh,
so it's like it's not like when you get fired, they're not going to replace you. It just means they're removing your position.
But you still don't have a job as a result of it?
Yes.
Fuckers.
Yeah,
so Pete wants
like
but let's all do AI slop though. It's taken away jobs from people. But actually this person ends up getting an NHL gig possibly. So
failing upwards.
Thank you, AI. David Carlson says 1564 Chaboy checking in. What Chaos Island office? Happy birthday, D and S. Happy birthday, David and Shayna. I believe that is.
No, it
or
definitely is
Sean.
not. I mean, maybe it was, but David always wishes me happy birthday.
Oh yeah, David and Sean.
Yeah,
David, Sean, and Shayna.
AEW1 says, yeah, the S with second S was made redundant. Did any of you check out AEW Double or Nothing this past Sunday? Cage match. Wrestling's IMDb has its 9.71 out of 10. Some calling it the GOAT Wrestling pay-per-view.
Likely super chat from AEW1.
Yeah.
On
topic.
AEW, I did not, but I did see that Mick Foley is AEW now, which was crazy to me.
Sean sounds AEW down. Super Grace says, my first time
Space
watching
Grace?
live. Nope. Okay. Super Space Grace. My first
Space
time.
Grace.
Super Space Grace. My first time watching live. It's 2 a.m. my time. Shout out to you, Space Grace.
Oh, yeah.
Super Grace. Some are calling you.
Yeah.
Good morning.
That's right.
GM.
Is that the last one?
Or good night. Yes.
Oh.
it is. Oh, we got to go one last second.
Spider97. Sorry for rage baiting you, DJ. My bad.
All good. All good. Appreciate you. Like I think that we are allowed to say that an AI music thing that is literally just, hey, say all these words, or a possibly AI thing, say all these words, is not your cup of tea without it being a snob thing. I think the whole music is subjective thing gives people license to do and say a lot. Like the music is subjective thing is how we get that dumbass New York Times guy saying the shit he said about Billy Joel. Your taste is subjective. The music itself is a series of choices and elements. If you say, hey man, I'm listening to a Pink song, that bass sounds fucking good. That bass is real and that bass is there. And that is a choice that somebody made. You are not making up that it is there. You're saying that it sounds good to you, but the whole music is subjective thing is a get out of jail free card for a lot of dumb shit. We have one more. Happy birthday, Feliz Aniversario, Shayna and Sean. Yeah, chat got up for Shayna's birthday. Sean, were you a little jealous? Feel like she's
No.
She's trying to steal your swag?
No, Shayna. I will allow Shayna to have her birthday, her day. I have the other 360.
Very brave of you. I did see some accusations in chat of we force women to work on ther birthday.
Yeah, hand up.
true.
Hand up.
You force women to shovel your driveway and mow your lawn and work on their birthday.
Biento Lapero says, thank you, Linda Perry. What do you know about that?
I don't know.
Linda Perry wrote Pink's music. Linda Perry, great songwriter, first came to prominence with Four Non Blondes, the song What's Up. It's an absolute classic. Then started doing stuff with Pink, then wrote Beautiful for Christina Aguilera. There was a whole beef between Christina Aguilera and Pink. And recently, Linda Perry is in the news because she said she was supposed to produce the follow-up to American Idiot, and they pulled the gig from her because, quote, Billy Joe is a little pussy.
Fuck yeah. Fuck
She
yeah.
said she got the gig, and Courtney Love was on a radio station or something, and she was like, oh yeah, I've been working with Linda Perry, who, like, congrats to Linda Perry, again, give you a little scoop, she's producing the next Green Day record. And fans were like, oh man, Green Day's doing some stuff with the pop lady. That's lame. So they reacted to that feedback and fired Linda Perry from the gig, which, Green Day, you should be so fucking lucky to work with Linda Perry. And two, I'm glad it all worked out this way, because I'm sure Green Day continued to make a lot of stuff that made them very happy. And we got Linda Perry on microphone calling Billy Joe Armstrong a little pussy.
Love that. Final super chat from Young Gritty, buying a super chat for my company porches.
Yes, very good, Young Gritty. Very important to do. Thank you to everybody who hung out today. Thank you to the birthday girl, Shayna Goldman. She also did say that she doesn't really like her birthday, Sean.
Did she?
She said that her drop would be Misery for it being her birthday. But
Oh,
maybe
I
she's just a
suppose
Maroon
that's
5
true.
fan.
Maybe taste subjective. Maybe she just loves that song.
That's true. I mean,
True. Yeah. Who knows?
that's where I get into, that song's fucking awesome. And if you say it's bad, we don't get to do the taste is subjective thing. You're just wrong. What are you looking for? Searching for Tessie? What's he up to?
I was looking for Man in the Arena. Did you remove it?
Yeah, we got it.
I'm the one in the arena.
Now that's the good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Nothing subjective about that. Just
Yeah.
fucking immaculate.
Heat just like his teeth. Real. Bye. Talk to you tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to What Chaos here on YouTube. You will get everything. Daily episodes, player interviews, and so much more. It's all here on the What Chaos YouTube. Hit subscribe.